going to give away a free t-shirt, bring you a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown fight, bring you comics news, and reveal the books I bought this week. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching the Comic Hero Show. Now kick that intro! Edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. This month is Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month. Now I'll touch base on that a little later on, but for right now, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. Alright, on last week's episode, I asked, in the comics, which Flash created the Speed Force? Well, the correct answer is Barry Allen. And 5 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, your name's been entered in a drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is... Brax Richard from Jennings, Louisiana. So congratulations, Brax. He wins up a free Comic Hero tee. Alright, here's the question for next week's episode, and this is an X-Men question. Which U.S. state is Rogue from? Now here are the hints. The first hint is that this state is the 20th state in the country. The second hint, this state's nickname is the Magnolia State. The third hint, the state capital of the state is Jackson. The fourth hint, and this is a dead giveaway, especially if you're a book reader, a moviegoer, or a TV watcher. The novel, the movie, and the TV series In the Heat of the Night all take place in this state. Alright, the fifth hint, Oprah Winfrey, Elvis Presley, James Earl Jones, B.B. King, Robin Roberts, Walter Payton, Jim Henson, Jerry Rice, and Rick Ross are all natives of this state. The sixth hint, and this is a song, Louisiana Woman, Blank Man by Conway Twitty and Loretta Lynn. The seventh hint, Blank Queen by Mountain. And then the eighth and final hint, Blank Woman by Denise LaSalle. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. Alright, now Mike Hart from Monroe, Louisiana has requested a Comic Heroes Throwdown Showdown fight, and this one features an artificial intelligence in one publication going up against another artificial intelligence in another publication. Representing DC, we have Brainiac. And representing Marvel, we have Ultron. These two are going to duke it out in a segment I like to call...
The Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown.
Welcome to the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Today, it's Brainiac versus Ultron. Brainiac is a 12th level intellect. His robotic body grants him superhuman strength, durability and speed, self-sustenance, psionic powers, cyberpathy, regeneration, shapeshifting, and immortality. Ultron is an artificial intelligence with genius-level intellect who also possesses superhuman strength, speed, and durability, energy absorption and projection, and flight. Who would win? Brainiac would quickly study Ultron before the fight starts. Ultron would start the fight by unleashing a lethal blast of energy at Brainiac, but the latter blocks it with ease. As a means of toying with Ultron, Brainiac shapeshifts into the person who created him, the Hank Pym Ant-Man. Ultron is stunned by this and falls to his knees. Brainiac attempts to attack Ultron, but the latter is playing possum. Ultron seemingly ends the fight by gutting Brainiac in the midsection and absorbing him. Ultron wins. But wait! Did I mention that Brainiac is immortal? As soon as Ultron is done absorbing Brainiac, the latter takes over the former's body and erases all of Ultron's cybernetic consciousness. Brainiac wins, and that concludes this fight on the Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown. Thank you, Mike Hart, for that fight. I'll feature another one in 2 weeks on episode 441. Now, if you want to make a request, you are more than welcome to do so. But you know my rules. The first rule is that there has to be at least one comic book and manga character involved. The second rule, the comic book and manga character can go up against another comic book and manga character, a video game character, or a serious-minded cartoon character like Voltron, Lion-O, any other member of the Thundercats, anyone like that. But please make sure that your request makes sense. It really wouldn't make a lot of sense for, I don't know, Martha Kent to go up against the Black Cat. Just saying. All right, now it's time for Comically Speaking. So without further ado, let's talk comics. All right, there are two things I'm going to talk about in this segment of Comically Speaking, and here's the first. Hey everyone, now this month is also Traumatic Brain Injury Awareness Month. Now, a traumatic brain injury usually results from a violent blow or jolt to the head or body. An object that goes through brain tissue, such as a bullet or a shattered piece of skull, can also cause traumatic brain injuries. Now, mild traumatic brain injuries may affect a person's brain cells temporarily, but traumatic brain injuries that's very serious can result in bruising, torn tissues, bleeding, and other physical damage to the brain. Now, these injuries can result in long-term complications or even death. Now, the signs and symptoms of mild traumatic brain injury may include headache, nausea or vomiting, fatigue or drowsiness, problems with speech, and dizziness or loss of balance. Now, the sensory symptoms to traumatic brain injuries include sensory problems such as blurred vision, ringing in the ears, a bad taste in the mouth, or changes in the ability to smell, and sensitivity to light or sound. Along with traumatic brain injuries, if they're very severe, a person can have behavioral problems or develop other symptoms. And these symptoms are loss of consciousness for a few seconds to a few minutes, no loss of consciousness but a state of being dazed, confused, or disoriented, memory or concentration problems, mood changes or mood swings, feeling depressed or anxious, difficulty sleeping, and sleeping more than usual. Now, moderate to severe traumatic brain injuries can include any of the signs and symptoms of mild injury, as well as these symptoms that may appear within the first hours to days after a head injury. Now, physical symptoms include loss of consciousness for several minutes to hours, persistent headache or headache that worsens, repeated vomiting or nausea, convulsions or seizures, dilation of one or both pupils of the eyes, clear fluids draining from the nose or ears, inability to awaken from sleep, and weakness or numbness in the fingers and toes. And cognitive and mental symptoms include profound confusion, agitation, combativeness, or other unusual behavior, slurred speech, coma and other disorders of consciousness, and loss of coordination. Now, there are several causes of brain injuries, and the most common out of all of them are falls. But in addition to falls, other causes are vehicle-related collisions, violence, sports injuries, and explosive blast and combat injuries. Now, I know some folks that have served our country, and a few of them suffered traumatic brain injuries as a result of explosions. And I can only imagine what they go through on a daily basis. And also in my field of work, I have provided service for folks that are having to readjust to a new normal due to suffering traumatic brain injuries. And I also know some other folks in general that have suffered traumatic brain injuries in different walks of life. And if you're watching this segment and this episode, this is for y'all. And this is a Traumatic Brain Injury Awareness Comic Hero Tee. And inside a speech bubble, you have the pattern of a person's brain. And then right here on the left sleeve, you have the awareness rim. Right here on the right sleeve, you have the universal symbol of traumatic brain injuries. Now, if you would like your very own, you can find them on my website, IamTheComicHero.com, for $17. Now, a few days ago, I went to Excalibur Comics. I was buying the books that you're actually about to see on this episode of the show. But then there was one that really piqued my interest. There was one, I really wanted to start reading another book, but I couldn't find one. But then, as I was looking around, I found the first issue of a book that's about 5 issues old. I've decided I'm all in on it. And that book is Wildcats. And this is Wildcats #1. All right. With that book, that brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 11,950. Now, DC has announced a few days ago the new creative team that's coming to The Flash later this year. And that's writer Simon Spurrier and artist Mike Deodato Jr. Now, Spurrier really piqued my interest when he started writing a book. It was an X-Men related book entitled Way of X. And that book was amazing. And then now he's currently writing the follow-up to Way of X entitled Legion of X. Now, Way of X, the main character in it was Nightcrawler, but in Legion of X, it's both Legion and Nightcrawler. And he's doing such a great job with it. I'm still getting caught up with this book, but I'm loving it. And then Mike Deodato Jr. has been an artist that's been around for some time, and he's penciled books like The Avengers and The Amazing Spider-Man. And let me tell you, he's one of my top 20 artists, bar none. Well, top 20 artists in the 21st century, not all time. But anyway, yeah, their first story arc is going to be entitled Betrayal. When I saw that, I thought this is either going to be very good or it's going to be crazy good. And I hope it's going to be crazy good, because honestly, I like crazy good. All right, now the second thing is that actress Liv Tyler has been confirmed by Marvel Studios that she will reprise her role as Betty Ross in the upcoming movie Captain America: New World Order. Now, of course, Anthony Mackie is going to be the new Captain America. He became Captain America in the Disney Plus series, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. If you haven't seen that, go on Disney Plus and see it. You will not be disappointed. I mean, there are about 30 to 40 years worth of story arcs that the series is loosely based upon. I mean, they threw the kitchen sink and then some when it came out with this one, and boy is it amazing. So if you haven't seen it, if you slept on it, you better wake up. But I think I like this movie because the last time that Tyler played the character was in the Incredible Hulk movie back in 2008, and that was when Marvel Studios just got started. I mean, the Incredible Hulk was the second Marvel movie under Marvel Studios, right behind the first Iron Man movie. And all I have to say is it's about dadgum time. I mean, although it still kind of stings that, William Hurt passed away. I'll say it a million times, but cancer sucks. However, they did recast the role. They casted Harrison Ford as Thunderbolt Ross, and there's rumor that he may end up becoming the Red Hulk in this movie. All I have to say is, all of it. Liv Tyler, Harrison Ford, Red Hulk, Sam Cap. I'm all here for it. I'm here for it, and I can't wait for it to come out. All right, that's it for Comically Speaking. Now let's get to the comics I bought this week. Comic books I bought this week. All right, here we go. First up is The Amazing Spider-Man number 22. Batman Superman World's Finest, number 13. Black Adam, number 9. Catwoman, number 53. Really excited about this book. Doctor Strange, number 1. The Flash, number 795. Marauders, number 12. Monica Rambeau, Photon, number 4. Red Goblin, number 2. She-Hulk, number 11. Spider-Man: The Lost Hunt, number 5. Superman, number 2. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, number 138. Wonder Woman, number 797. And finally, X-Men Annual, number 1. All right, that's 15, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 11,965. All right, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode. And here's a question again for our free tea for next week's episode of the show. Which U.S. state is Rogue from? Now, here are the hints again. The first hint is that this state is the 20th state in the country. The second hint, this state's nickname is the Magnolia State. The third hint, the state capital of this state is Jackson. The fourth hint, the novel, the movie, and the TV series In the Heat of the Night all take place in this state. The fifth hint, Oprah Winfrey, Elvis Presley, James Earl Jones, B.B. King, Robin Roberts, Walter Payton, Jim Henson, Jerry Rice, and Rick Ross are all natives of this state. The sixth hint, Louisiana Woman, Blank Man by Loretta Lynn and Conway Twitty. Seventh hint, Blank Queen by Mountain. And the eighth and final hint, I'm Just a Blank Woman by Denise LaSalle. And I'm just going to throw this other hint in, but this state has also been considered the birthplace of the blues. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tea on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Brax Richard from Jennings, Louisiana, who won a free tea on this episode. All right, this month is Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month. Now, cerebral palsy is a group of disorders that affects movement and muscle tone or posture. It's caused by damage that occurs to the immature developing brain, most often before birth. Now, signs and symptoms appear during infancy or preschool years. In general, cerebral palsy causes impaired movement associated with exaggerated reflexes, floppiness or spasticity of the limbs and trunk, unusual posture, involuntary movements, unsteady walking, or a combination of these. Now, people with cerebral palsy can have problems swallowing or commonly have eye muscle imbalance in which the eyes don't focus on the same object. They also might have reduced range of motion at various joints of their bodies due to muscle stiffness. Now, the cause of cerebral palsy and its effects on function vary greatly. Now, some people with cerebral palsy can walk while others need assistance. Some people have intellectual disabilities, but others don't. Epilepsy, blindness, or deafness might also be present. Now, cerebral palsy is a lifelong disorder. There's currently no cure, but treatments can improve function. Now, this is a Cerebral Palsy Awareness Comic Hero tee, and if you would like one of your own, you can find them on my website, IamTheComicHero.com, for $17. Now, in my field of work, I have provided services for folks that have conditions similar to the cerebral palsy, and I've impacted them and their families. And even though I provided services for them, and even though I know a lot about them in terms of what they can do and what they cannot, I still cannot imagine what they go through or how they feel on a daily basis. And if you're watching this and you happen to have cerebral palsy, or you're a family member of someone who has cerebral palsy, this episode is for y'all. Now, I always include the families because what a person that goes through anything, whatever their fight is, it's also their family's fight. And I love y'all, whether I know y'all or not, and I'm with y'all. All right, here's the road ahead for the show. On episode 440, I'm going to show some love to the men and women's college basketball champions. Now, the Final Four for both the men and women's are starting this weekend. So good luck to all those teams, and if y'all win it all, I'm going to show some love to y'all on the next episode. So good luck. And on episode 441, I'm going to raise awareness of autism. On episode 442, I'm going to raise awareness of oral cancer. On episode 443, I'm going to raise awareness of child abuse. It's all about helping people, folks. It's all about helping people. It's all about showing people that you care, and it's also about educating those that don't know about any of these causes. All right, if you're not doing anything on June 3rd, meet me over at the Paragon Casino and Resorts Ballroom in Marksville, Louisiana. That's the site of the 3rd annual Sinlock Collector Con. I will be a vendor there, and if you have a Comic Hero tee, put it on and come on out. And don't just support me, support everyone that's going to be at the con, all the vendors, all the guests. You know, cons are really coming back after, in the midst of the pandemic, after everything is opened up. They're starting to open up now that, cons are back on the rise. And I've never been to this con, but I'm going to be a vendor at this con every year that they'll have me. All right, if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, welcome. And as soon as you're done, hit subscribe. And if you're watching this on the Comic Book Lovers Facebook page, welcome. Go on YouTube and hit subscribe. All right, I'm Victor Nolly. I'm the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 440. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero.